Tell me about the archaeology of you. Do you know what that means? Like the archaeology of you. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about how us humans, we're composed of all these layers, all these dimensions. It's like an onion. And often, many live on the surface. They live in the routine and sort of the monotony of the day. You wake up, you go to work or school or sit on the couch, whatever your routine is, and then you go through the motions. The night falls and there's that routine. And the self doesn't get explored in the ways that reveal the fullest of not just my potential, your potential, our potential, but the fullness of who we are, the layers of us. And I'm thinking about the archaeology of myself and the tools that are required in order to excavate, to dig, to peel, and then the wherewithal, the insight that is within, the outsight, the eyes that sees externally, that's needed in order to bear witness to whatever we discover. Tell me about the archaeology of you. How many layers have you allowed yourself to discover? How much of the onion that is you have you allowed yourself to peel back? I talk to many people, and I'm thinking about a particular friend who thanked me recently. She said, you know, you've been ahead, you've been on this journey. But I want to thank you because it's because of you that I've been able to dig more into myself, that I'm no longer afraid to see what's there. And, you know, I can dig at my own pace, I can discover, and then I can process. And I thought to myself, yes to that. And first of all, how grateful I am to be able to hear and receive someone saying, hey, you helped in this way. And that is what inspired this episode about the archaeology of self. And are you afraid to experience your emotions, to see where they come from? Are you afraid to pause and actually look at that relationship you're in? Are you afraid to be honest with yourself? Do you even know what your truth is? So often we're consumed and we prioritize the thoughts and opinions of others. We don't want to disappoint people. We don't want to hurt people. We said we would do this and, we need to stick with that, as if we can't change, as if we can't evolve, that our minds have to be fixed. And no, it's okay to start digging, to start discovering your archaeology, to learn who you are and your reasons, not just for being, but for the decisions you make, for the places you go, for the friendships you have. Maybe you distract yourself by things, always busy. afraid of the dark, so to speak, can't sit still because then your thoughts start to think. But what if you sat still long enough to hear the thinking of your thoughts? Because wherever you go, there you are, right? So your thoughts are a part of you. And when we run, the shadow remains. We're running from the shadow and the shadow is chasing after us. Like, hey, what about me? Because we're all one. We're one here. So what if you practice, if you just chose a day, like this particular friend said, now, I have this one day a month where I allow myself to focus on me. It's the same day every month. What if you allowed yourself the same day, like set a date, almost like a birth date. You allowed yourself on that day to reflect, to peel back a layer. Now I'm saying once a month to make that doable, right? Of course, you can do once a week, whatever it is. But imagine if you allowed yourself and you committed to the practice of excavating in order to learn more fully about who you are and the reasons for your being, your becoming, your mindset, your fears. What's wrong with the still quiet? What haunts you in that time? What of your thinking thoughts cause you such fear that you shut them out and you do not make time to learn from them, to hear them? Sometimes we're afraid and we don't even know why we're afraid. Maybe there was no template. No one in the family ever, sat you down and talked about anxiety, sat you down and talked about depression, sat you down and talked to you about neglect or abuse or compassion or love or acceptance or grace. Maybe the template has been everything fast forward all the time, no space for spaciousness. And so you don't really understand it. You don't know how to be with yourself. And you don't necessarily know why. And then that causes its own angst. Am I malfunctioned? Is something wrong with me? Why do I feel such discontentment, such, dis-ease? Why am I so disrupted whenever night falls and all goes quiet and still and I'm left with myself? What's wrong with me? I can't sit with myself. Nothing. It's hard to be an expert at anything if we do not practice. If we do not start, we cannot begin. This is your start. Commit to the archeology of you. We go to school, we get degrees, we go through professional training and development, we get jobs, we learn skills. Yet we do not turn all of that dedication and curiosity and inquiry on ourselves. It's time now. Because there are beautiful discoveries within you. You possess great capacities. And yet you will not know if you do not turn toward yourself and investigate, if you do not start picking up your shovel and digging in. All of the gems within you, those great capacities, they will just be hidden underneath the fears. You are not scary unto yourself. You do not have to be afraid of yourself. Peel back the layers. Take your time and be steady in your practice, even as you take your time to discover the fullness of you. May you give yourself the gift of really knowing your archaeology. And may I do the same for myself.